Hello everyone, this is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. My channel is where we talk fiction, friends, and fun. Today, let's do a shelf tour. Specifically, my Alice in Wonderland books. Stay tuned. And before we get started, let me know in the comment section down below, are there any books that you collect that you keep your eye out for at the charity shops, at the secondhand market, new releases? Let me know. I would be really interested to find out. For me, it's Alice. 100% Alice. So let's go through. This is the shelf right here, this little bit. We're going to go through them. Surprisingly, I haven't read any of them except the original. So we're gonna go through them. This is a part of my Read What You Own challenge, so I'm hoping in May I'm gonna be able to dive into some Alice, or maybe April I'm gonna have an Agatha April. Maybe I'll do an Alice April too. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think that would be a good idea. My history with Alice in Wonderland goes back to when I first became a reader. So if you don't know, if you are new to my channel and you just don't know about my history, I'm going to clue you in. So I have an older brother, he's 5 years older, and he was able to go to school before I was. And I was so ticked off at that. Probably because I thought that I should be in school since I was a little smarty pants. So I would, when my mom was watching, my mom was a homemaker, while she was watching her soap opera dailies and, doing chores around the house and making home cooked meals, instead of being a brat and getting in trouble, I would get myself a desk, and they had a desk for me that had like a lid that opened up and everything. I'd have my paper and my pens, and they actually got me like some type of like a primer book to like go to school. And I sat from the time my brother left until my time my brother got home, and I played school with myself in my brain. And my mother was probably so freaking thankful. And what helped me learn during that time were these records that they had in the 60s and the 70s. And it was used to play the vinyl record, and then you'd have the book, which was inside the album cover to go along with. Some brilliant person on YouTube actually recorded it along with the visual, and it took me right back. It took me right back to being a kid and discovering how to read and what phonetics were, and having comprehension. And I'm going to link it down below in case you're interested. But that started my love affair with Alice in Wonderland. I would listen to that probably twice a day, at least once in the morning, once at night. I just absolutely love the story of Alice. And I hope you do as well. So let's go through some books. Almost all of them have some kind of a story associated with it. This is a actually it's a blue rabbit, but this was my grandmother's probably. This is super, super old, super antique. The eyes have a little googly in them. There was an actual like liquid in there to make them floaty, but that's gone. This sucker is old. So I keep him next to my Alice books. It's probably like an Easter pin, but I use it just to decorate my Alice books. I know. All right. So my oldest Alice, I have to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. I actually got at a huge outdoor antique sale, all different kinds of things, like crazy things out in the country. They had a couple books lined up, and it was interesting. Two of the books that I saw on repeat were In Cold Blood first editions, and I think they were asking for $15 or something like that, but it didn't have the original dust cover on it, so I'm like, no, not worth it. But then I saw this, and I saw this, and there was a lady that had this book in her hand. I shared this in an earlier video. Most of you probably do not know. This lady has this book in her hand, and she's flipping through it. And I see these illustrations. Now I'm being very careful with it because the pages are brown. I see these illustrations. There's also color illustrations. This is the Pool of Tears. You can see that. Just gorgeous. So I see these images and I said, that's an Alice in Wonderland book. The lady is having a conversation with her friend, right? And the lady says to her friend, now they're probably in their late 40s, early 50s, maybe mid 50s. I don't know. I can't tell because I'm 51 and I don't know what. I think people are young and they're old, and I think people are old and they're young. Like, you know. She says, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to rip up these illustrations and the pages in the book to make craft projects. I was like, oh, she can't do that. She can't do that. She can't do it. I'm like, put the book down. Put the book down, put the book down and walk away, lady. I am going to give this book a home. So I'm stalking a little. I'm circling. I'm hovering. I'm getting ready to pounce. She's walking around with this book. I see it in her hand. It does not leave my eyesight. I am glued into this book. She looks at it. She closes it and she puts it down. And I grab it from her, from the table. And I just have it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's mine. I saved you, I saved you, I saved you. So let me give you a little background as to why I saved this book. First of all, this is a Alice in Wonderland printed in England in 1939 with illustrations by Arthur Rackham. This sucker was $10. And well worth the $10. This was a library book that was out of the Waterville, Maine. It may be loaned out for 2 weeks. A fine of 2 cents will be charged after each day. The book is kept over time. But the font in this book is amazing. I'm being extra special careful. I mean, there are spills in it. This is an old book. Look at chapter 1. Just look at how gorgeous that is. You know, I love my e-readers to death, but this brings me life. I just love, there's a Cheshire Cat. So this is one of my treasured books. Free public library. All kinds of little writings in here from the libraries that it was at. Here's the title page. There's a poem in here as well. But yeah, so I saved this. And this is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, right? Yes, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So this is one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites. And the story that goes behind it is just like perfection. All right. Now we have Alice's Adventures Underground. This has beautiful illustrations as well, and the illustrations are by Charles Santore. Look at that. I mean, it's just lovely. There is something magical about the story of Alice in Wonderland. Little Carrion Terrier. Huge. Not little, he's huge. Alice is in the corner there. These pages, the end pages, not the end pages, the deckled edges, it's different. They have ridges on them. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can see, but they're rough and they're very torn. They almost have like a paper cut type feel to them. So this was a gift by my bestie. And hopefully I will be getting to that, if not April, maybe in May. This is an edited first draft of Lewis Carroll's text alongside the unedited first draft of Charles Santore's drawings and the 150th anniversary of the story's publication. Yeah, so very cool. Looking forward to reading this. Okay. Then we have books based on Alice. This is Alice by Christina Henry. Then we have The Red Queen by Christina Henry. And Looking Glass by Christina Henry. These are all chronicles of Alice. It says, beware the claws that catch. A mind-bending new novel inspired by the twisted and wondrous works of Lewis Carroll. That was the first one. Then in Looking Glass, 4 new novellas, Christina Henry returns to the world of Alice and the Red Queen, where magic runs freely as secrets and blood. And this one, author takes readers back to a dark and twisted and fascinating world based on the works of Lewis Carroll. So these are all Alice in Wonderland inspired retellings with a little bit of horror, a little bit of gore. Then we have, this I got at a library sale. This is Alice in Wonderland, a Nautical Critical Edition. This is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass and the Hunting of the Snark, background essays in criticism. There are also illustrations in here. It's just fascinating to me. And I really think Alice deserves a deep dive from me in 2023. Then we have another inspired Alice telling, and this is The Queen of Hearts. This is by Colleen Oakes. And Blood of Wonderland, also by Colleen Oakes. And look at the back. Beautiful. And this one as well. Just beautiful. And these are also new stories inspired by Alice in Wonderland, with a little bit more of a thriller horror type aspect to it. So 2 really, really interesting books. There may be a third one. I'm not 100% though, but there may be a third one. Then we have an original reprinting, Alice Adventures in Wonderland. And this is just a basic book. This is from Book Beach, one of the bookshops there. Treated myself, wanted to support a local bookstore. I love the one on the back. This is from Paper Mills Press. It's a beautiful edition. It has like that cardboard felty type. But I don't want to go among the mad people, Alice remarked. Oh, you can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad. How do you know I'm mad, said Alice. You must be, or you wouldn't have come here, said the cat. Delightful. This is my latest acquisition. I got this last year, I think. Ooh, is it Sandy? It might be Sandy at Ms. Reads a Lot. She was the one that notified me of this one. I haven't read it yet. This is Happy by Nicola Barker. This is a modern telling about Alice in Wonderland in a dystopian setting. Let's see. I'll read you the blurb. Imagine a perfect world where everything is known, where everything is open, where there can be no doubt, no hatred, no poverty, no greed. Imagine a system which both nurtures and protects. A community, with a capital C, which nourishes and sustains an infinite world. A world without sickness, without death, a world without God, a world without fear. Could you, might you, be happy there? Happy is a post-apocalyptic Alice in Wonderland. A story which tells itself and then consumes itself. It is a place where language glows, where words buzz and sparkle and finally implode. It's a novel which twists and writhes with all the terrifying precision of a tiny fish in an Escher lithograph. A book where the mere telling of a story is the end of certainty. Doesn't that sound good? Sounds good. All right. Then we have Gregory Maguire, After Alice. Down the rabbit hole where adventures await. When Alice toppled down the rabbit hole 150 years ago, she found a wonderland rife with inconsistent rules and abrasive egos as the world she left behind. But what of that world? How did 1860s Oxford react to Alice's disappearance? In this brilliant new work of fiction, Gregory Maguire turns his dazzling imagination to the question of underworlds, undergrounds, underpinnings, and the understandings old and new, offering an inventive spin on Carroll's enduring tale. And this has beautiful deckled edges. It's not too long. It's 260 pages. This came out a few years ago, and sounds really, really good. So I think after I get through the original Alice, then the retellings will pop in. This is a fun one. I got this one last year. This is Alice in Wonderland and Philosophy. This is actually written by one person who is a college professor of philosophy, and another that I believe, is there a bookmark in here? Ooh, there is a bookmark in here. Look at that. Found bookmark. So we have, the introduction says, "You're late to a very important date." Oh, contents. Wake up, Alice, dear unruly Alice. A feminist view of some adventures in Wonderland. Jam yesterday, jam tomorrow, but never jam today. On procrastination, hiking, and the Spice Girls. Nuclear strategists in Wonderland. You're nothing but a pack of cards. Alice doesn't have a social contract. It's different essays. Serious nonsense. Memory and muchness. Wishing it were some other time. The temporal passage of Alice. How deep does a rabbit hole go? Drugs, dreams, perception, and reality. Should be interesting. But yeah, this is a philosophy book based on Alice in Wonderland. Then we have another book that I picked up, and this is The Logic of... shiny cover. The Logic of Alice. And this is by Bernard M. Patton. Clear Thinking in Wonderland. So we have Down the Rabbit Hole, Pool of Tears, Caucus Race to and a Long Tail, The Rabbit Sends a Little Brill, Advice from the Caterpillar, Pig and Pepper, A Mad Tea Party. We have all of the stories listed, and then this is going to be critical thinking regarding those. If you're a geek like me, you like this stuff. And then lastly, this I got. The library sales are fantastic. Do you guys hit up your library sales? Like, they're just so good. This is the annotated Alice. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, illustrated by John Tenniel, with an introduction and notes by Martin Gardner. The complete text and original illustrations in a fully annotated edition. It's a nice size copy too. Here's the Mad Tea Party. There's Alice. These pages remind me of House of Leaves. And there's Alice with the Queen. Fantastic. So, as I'm sitting here going through this shelf tour, I'm thinking, yes, possibly, maybe, the Agatha weekend, maybe some people can do an Alice and Agatha. Wouldn't that be fun? Read one Alice book, read one Agatha book. It could work, right? Yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you're interested. Okay, everyone, that is it here from my mini shelf tour of my Alice in Wonderland books. I hope you are all doing well. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I will see you in my next video, whether that be sooner or later. So until next time, everyone, goodbye for now.